another sound, not the sound of peace and you name it, any other thing under the earth. No, we're sounding the alarm. You know? But hey, man, these people are just they're dumb.
You got a scripture, right? You said no, sir.
It says Romans 13:11, and that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light.
Part of that darkness, works of darkness, is the idol worship. And we're particularly going into today, but there's many other situations.
The works of the flesh.
Yeah.
Drunkenness, getting drunk out your mind during these so-called festivities, and scriptures call it banqueting, rioting. You know, those are the works of darkness, man. Revelry. You know, like you go right now, you look at some of these reports coming out, shootings happening, fires.
You know what? I gotta.
That's because you people are in the dark, man. That's why these things be happening on these kind of days.
I got a list of articles I'm just gonna read through real fast. Easter road toll climbs after man killed in car rollover. 13 deaths on roads over Easter weekend. Man in his 20s died in horror Easter Sunday shooting as murder investigation launched. Beloved couple killed in horror Easter crash.
And that was funny. I just told my kids, like, y'all get to the age that y'all gonna start driving. Driving is the number one killer of human beings on the planet, being in these vehicles. Now, how many? That's 3 out of 5 or 4.
Holiday horror as 6 dead, 1,700 fine. That's for driving, you know. But that's just from today, maybe yesterday, tomorrow. The headlines is going to be probably quadruple of what I just read about people, you know, getting judged out here, you know, in that spirit of mirth, in that spirit of Easter, and, you know, not knowing what the fuck is really going on out here in the world.
Yeah, it's very important for people to understand. Judgment is going forth. It's not a game. It's not a game. If your head ain't screwed on the right way, if you're all oogly-eyed or some BS, you're gonna get caught out there.
And you have to be covered.
Hey.
Because brothers have been in car accidents and the Lord is restored, man. You know, these other people, and if you see like pictures, you'll be like, oh shit. Like,
hey, there's brothers that been in the car looked like they was in something fake. Brothers are straight, walked away from it.
Literally, you know, that's the covering of y'all busting out shot, man.
Yeah.
And
a lot of situations, man. Trust me, as witnesses and somebody that believe that I've been protected at a time by Yahweh Shemi outside, man. Trust me. A lot of situations, brothers that believe was getting out of.
Bro, cars total. Them type of accidents. Like, not just no front end collision.
Right.
Nah, cars smushed.
Now, that brother just told me the other day, him and his wife had a car accident. Both cars messed up within weeks of each other. Like in the same month almost, if I recall, right? Hey, you think that, but they're both straight though.
Right.
And now there's trouble getting through it and paperwork and Esau giving hell and doing all of this. But eventually the Lord, if you doing the right thing, the Lord gonna see you through it.
Right.
So don't think it's just gonna be all cupcakes and rainbows. But on the other side, them people didn't make it through. Those were all fatal, the brother just read. But them brothers just making it through.
We read yesterday, Psalms 18.
Yep.
How David was thrown in trouble, man.
The Lord rescued him.
Through all of it.
The Lord rescued. Took him.
That was my favorite part. Through that last moment when he was surrounded and finished, he still got him up out. It was like Neo. That's why I like the Matrix movies, because it's almost like a biblical story the way it's set up. With the one, then the anomaly, Yahweh Shai, where when he was surrounded in Matrix Loaded Part 2 by all them Smiths, and when they had him, he broke off for a split second, went down and shot up out of there. He was finished if he'd try to keep fighting all them guys. Okay? A lot of little things that you can take spiritual righteousness out of, man. Okay, but you look at the rest of these people, and they're just fully wise and gulping in the ways of this world, and they just, because this is the way it's been, this is the way it's supposed to be, and the more I get back to normal, normal is wicked. The more I get back to that, the better it'll be to go back to normal everywhere else. No. It's saying there's a time where the change has to be made. I got a quick one.
I got something
You all know these. 1 John chapter 2, verse 15, it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. And that's whether that's physical, excuse me, physical things or philosophies. Like this is a day of philosophy. Okay, and idol worship. So you believing that you have to Easter bunnies and eggs and powder pinks and all of this other shit. You know, you deep in it, man. You deep in the world. The Bible says, if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. Didn't you mention something about the eyes? You, right? Right before this? It said all the things that thou hast seen. I forgot what you read. But it's all good. It says the lust of the eyes and the pride of life, and trying to come back and have a life. It says he that saves his life shall lose it, and he that loses his life for my sake shall have life eternal. Okay, that's what we're really fighting for. We're willing to give up having these revelings and parties and all this old wicked ass bullshit that the world enjoys and the world promotes, to be outcast of this society, but to have life eternal when it really matters in the kingdom of heaven, man. To make it through to that without seeing death by pain. Right? It says it's not of the Father, but it is of the world. And the world passes away, its age, its society, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. Okay? You got it, bro.
Yeah, this second is a 7, and I'll start here at 12. It says then, it's not.
Second Ezra?
Yeah, second is a 7. I'll start there. I got it.
Yeah.
It says, then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful.
That's the way this life is. Job talked about how bad this life is. Having to be born into this bullshit.
Yeah.
Even,
You know?
I believe Apostle Paul said it as well. He said,
Yep.
though our outward man perish, our inward man is renewed day by day. You know,
He said it's better for me if I
would say stay
be with the Lord.
Yep.
But it's
needful.
Yeah, for me to be here.
Yeah.
to do work.
Yep. He was a key figure to us in this ministry in this time now. His righteousness.
For the entrances of the elder world were wide and short, and brought immortal fruit. If then they live, labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those things that are laid up for them. Now therefore, why disquietest thou thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man? And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? Why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come?
That was heavy, man. Don't read up a little bit.
This is 15, it's like 14. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them.
Hey, you never get to the treasure if you don't go on the hunt.
Yeah.
And it means what? You have to be broken out of that stronghold.
Yep.
You know? Because that's where the fight begins.
Yep.
You know? And you were always fighting in the world. You didn't know you were fighting. But the true fight happens when that veil of darkness is cast off of you.
Yep.
You
You
know?
can see your opponent.
Yeah, that's the straight gate.
Yep.
Going through that straight gate is like, damn, it's paradise on the other end.
Yep.
But it may be hell getting through it. But
Yep.
once you're through, you see the reward.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Once you cross that finish line,
Exactly.
you know, cross that finish line, it's a marathon.
Right.
And something I want to bring up, Apostle McGuire speaks about this eloquently, man, when he says, man, you got to be a visionary. So you got to have a vision of that paradise that's awaiting you, that once you get through all this hell.
Yeah,
You
everyone
gotta have
don't.
that vision and say that this gotta be the right way. Look how hard it is.
Yeah, everyone don't have that vision.
Yep.
You know, that's why they'll accept a holiday
Yep.
or one of these. You know, it's something here in the flesh in this world that's something good and positive that like a nigga say, it can't get no better than this.
Yep.
What did the nigga say last night? Lasagna. This is the happiest I ever been in my life.
Yep.
Like Jake is fucked up, man. This is.
I heard both sides. I heard a spiritual message for us that are in the know about what he said, if he was in the know. And then I also heard if he was in the world, either way, and it could be taken that way. Kind of where your mind is at, to roll with that. But hey, for us, this is the happiness, because we know we're getting out of captivity. But for Jake, they happy with this low-level bullshit. They don't know what awaits us. We're happy because we know what awaits us. They're happy because things seem to be at ease, and they ain't so bad. But little do they know, hell and destruction is awaiting them. We're awaiting heaven.
Yeah, it's two separate rewards.
Glory.
The thing about it, like when Apostle Paul, when he was admonishing the church, he was sending word through Timothy to send to the church. He was telling them basically to fight that good fight of faith.
Yep.
But then when you read like later on at the end of that chapter, he said, "I have fought that good fight." That was when he went through all the afflictions and he was getting ready to go. So he already knew that what was laid up for him. He already knew what was laid up for him. I done went through what I had to go through. The Lord sent me on a mission. All right, and he was comparing his mission to, the use of sports. He was using the Olympics, as an analogy for striving for the mastery. It's not for the swift. The race is not to the swift, man. But we do they that run in a race.
You may receive the prize.
Yeah.
Run that you may obtain.
Run that you may obtain. So, hey, what do you think Usain Bolt, what is he visualizing right before they,
Finish line.
He's thinking about the finish line. That's all he's thinking about. He sees the goal coming right upon his, right there.
Hey, I'm gonna say this. It's a great analogy that Cody used. He said, "I'm not worried about hitting a game winner in Game 7. I'm only thinking about that when I'm actually training. I'm not right in the moment. I'm just doing it.
Yeah.
But when I'm training is when I'm thinking about where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
And I fall in love with what it takes. So you gotta fall in love with the work,
Process,
with the
grind.
grind.
The grind.
You gotta fall in love with
Yeah.
the grind of it, man.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think I'm sure that's been in Rocky movies or something to that effect. All these inspirational movies that Jake likes to draw from. But there's no greater inspiration than this, knowing that destruction and peril is set before you, and that everlasting peace in heaven awaits you.
You can't look back.
Yep.
You're running a race. You focus on winning.
Yep.
You're not looking back, man.
The
You're not
moment you
looking on
look
the
back,
side
you
of you.
slow
You're not
down.
looking on the left side, the right
Throws
side.
you off.
Close you off.
So the scripture say, keep your eyes single.
You
Yep.
you
Tunnel
lose
vision.
that focus.
Apostle Paul brought tunnel vision before Apostle Paul.
I got a scripture. So Philippians 3. I'm gonna start at 12. This is in the NLT. It says, "I don't mean to say that I have already achieved these things, or that I have already reached perfection, but I press on to possess that perfection for which Yahweh Shai Mashiach first possessed me.
Yep.
No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. I press on to reach the end of the race and receive the heavenly prize for which the Most High through Hamashiach Yahushai is calling us."
That's fighting through pain, agony.
Knocked down,
thoughts
back up.
of thinking you can't do it. You can't make it. No, you gotta press. you gotta push yourself. You know?